What's up everyone, Skizzers here, and welcome back to the Playbook, a series that goes over strategy, habit building, and tools you can use to get yourself top fragging and carrying your team in no time. In this video, we will be discussing how SKADOODLE makes some insanely smart plays and how you can implement those ideas into your own play. As always, let's start with the clip. Okay, so starting off, he is peeking into long, gets that entry frag, shoots a shock dart up into hookah to see maybe if he can do any damage, and then he shoots the sonar arrow. And you can already tell he has this planned out, right? Because the sonar arrow hits and he immediately zooms in and stares at the wall. Now obviously he can't see into hookah because there's a sage wall there, but he can zoom in and wallbang somebody if they're in the right spot to be hit, which he does beautifully, and then immediately follows up with another frag. Now unfortunately he dies at the end, but that whole sequence of events was really clutch. So just going through it once again, he goes to peek, and what he's looking for is either somebody peeking from this angle, or this angle. Those are the spots that he can be peeked from. So he can either be peeked from inside of long, over by the teleporter, or from inside a garden. And he gets peeked from inside a garden. And if you actually notice there, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but he doesn't flick to the enemy. If we frame by frame this really slow, he's just keeps his crosshair placed the whole time and lets the enemy walk in to his crosshair. So something to keep in mind, you don't always need to hit the flick shot. I'm very guilty of this. I'm a very flick heavy opper. So all of my snipes are usually flicks, even if they're short distance. But this is a good idea to do and to get into a habit of doing for more consistent shots. And you can even see he sees him, and if you look at his crosshair, he even is moving more to the right. Like, see this little macro movement right here? Goes a little bit to the right once again. Like, as he could flick and hit this guy right now, right? But as he's peeking, he just goes away from him, because he knows as he's walking to the left and Brimstone is walking to the right, this crosshair will eventually end up where it needs to be. And by him continuously moving, he allows that opportunity to happen for him. So, moving forward, once again, like I said, he doesn't move his crosshair at all. And then he stops moving right there. And then 2 frames later, he fires. So, SKADOODLE making very quick work of the Brimstone. So that's something that you can always keep in mind for yourself. Like I said, is you don't always have to flick with the op. Sometimes it's best to just leave it in the same spot and let your enemy walk into the crosshair themselves. It's a lot less effort for you as well. So he hits the shot, and then he immediately shocked arrows up into hookah, probably for the sake of his teammates starting to push it. You can see over here we have his Brimstone right here pushing into hookah, and he's probably shooting the shock arrow in case there is somebody inside of hookah. He might be able to hit them, do a little bit of chip damage, making Brimstone's job easier to retake that area. So he shoots it in, and then he immediately, because Brim's, you can see him right here on the corner. So Brim is peeking and charging into hookah at this point. So he shoots the shock arrow first, just to maybe give his Brimstone the assist. And then afterwards, he goes ahead and shoots the sonar. Now, sonar hits, and Brim is rotating around to long, you can see. So Brim started to push through hookah, or started to walk towards hookah, and then rotated down towards B short. And obviously, by the way he was looking and the way he's dying, kind of going back this way as he's dying, he was looking down towards fountain into long. So his game plan most likely was check the initial point of hookah, then rotate through to B long, and take over the site over on B long. I didn't mean to cross out Logitech's logo there. But to push around to long, right? And then push around that way. The fact that SKADOODLE had the thought early, because he could see where his teammates going, right? And the fact that he thought early, hey, I'm gonna shoot this arrow in there to reveal. And right after he shot it to reveal, see where he positions himself, right? He can't be peeked from long because long is over here. So he moves in a way that allows his positioning to be only attacked from particular angles, right? And at this point, I'd like to ask you, where can he actually be shot from? And the only answer is actually behind him, which would be a spawn. And although we don't see it in the clip, I would assume that he came from a site and rotated through spawn, so he knows nobody's going to be there. Now, there can always be the long flank, but that's not something he's particularly worried about in this situation. So he ends up shooting that. He does a little jump there, and then he goes ahead and shoots the arrow in here. Now, like I said, once again, see how he positions himself so he can't be shot from long. Now, this is something really important to do, especially as an opper, but it's important in every role. But as an opper, you're going to be zoomed in. You're zooming in more, and so you lose some of that FOV that you would have had prior. So up here, right, you can see a lot more, but as you zoom in, you lose some of that line of sight that you had, some of that FOV to be able to see enemies. And so something that's really important is to make sure that enemies can't shoot you, obviously, while you're focused on hitting a different target. And with this positioning being very, very smart from SKADOODLE, that he positions himself so that he is able to even look to take the shot. Now, taking the shot in general was super, super smart. The fact that he shot the arrow and Phoenix thinks he's fine, right, because there's the sage wall, but SKADOODLE knows he's not fine if he gets spotted, and he gets spotted and just ops him right through the wall. Free kill. And then this last one is just kind of a classic. You're going to peek the angle where you expect enemies to be after you reveal your position. So SKADOODLE shoots Phoenix, and now they know exactly where SKADOODLE is. And since he's not worried about somebody coming from behind him, the only real place that they can come from is long area. So his best course of action, because he's trying to retake over the site, is to wide swing and look to take that angle, which he does exactly. He starts pushing out, wide swings, and wide swinging being he's not over by, like, if he was to just take a quick peek, he would be kind of aiming right about here. So he would still have some cover. And with the wide swing, though, you kind of peek out completely outside of cover. And you can also see Sage is also wide swinging this angle, because Sage could have been peeking and just barely poked out right here and held an angle, right? Or just taking a quick little jiggle peek. But Sage completely wide peeks as well. And this is something you see in a lot higher levels of play. And it's to mostly, as far as Valorant goes and the way that angles and peeker's advantage and all that kind of works, it's usually beneficial to kind of wide swing. So that's why you see both players doing it here. Now, difference is that SKADOODLE is a really, really, really good opper. So he gets that first kill and he swings out, and just a really, really good shot on Sage. And unfortunately, when he goes for the rotate to hit Jet, he misses and then gets opped himself. But overall, the play is just fantastic. The ideas behind it and everything is phenomenal. So just to go over in real time one last time for you to kind of take into account, the things I'd like you to take from the video is, 1, make sure you have cover between you and potential angles that can shoot you while you're focused on a different position. 2, SOVA can be used in a lot more ways than you would have thought. When I saw this clip, I thought it was the smartest thing ever to shoot the sonar arrow up onto the ceiling, so then you can opt through the wall bangable spot. I never thought about doing that before, and it makes so much sense when you lay it out that way, but it's one of those things that you just might not think about doing, and I just thought that was super smart. So for SOVA specifically, try to experiment with some of these different things. There's stuff people post on Reddit all the time, like with some wild angles you can hit, but these are things that you can think about in the middle of your game where, hey, we need to check hookah. I have sonar arrow ready. I can just shoot it in there and see if anyone's there, which a lot of players would think of, but to also add the additional step of, and I will opt them through the wall if they are revealed, is just that extra step that a lot of players I think could really use. So between making sure you're covered in proper position, kind of doing that extra step of thinking, shooting, an arrow maybe to wall bang somebody. You can do this with a rifle as well. Obviously op will work better, but kind of doing something like that. And then after you have taken a shot and your position is now compromised, your position's revealed, right? You're going to want to wide swing the next angle that enemies might be to take an aggressive approach. And after you get that kill, take another aggressive approach and reposition. And we have a whole video on repositioning on the channel, so take a look at that if you are interested. And with the way SKADOODLE repositioned, he went through the container, the crate, to take a shot. Unfortunately, he missed and died for it, but all the thought process was there. All the thought process that went into this play was perfect. Sometimes you miss a shot, it just happens. Even the best of the best miss shots, but everything that SKADOODLE did here was perfect, and it's something that I think everybody can learn from. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a couple little tips that you can take away from this and implement into your own gameplay. Of course, please do go ahead and follow SKADOODLE on all of his different social media platforms. Links will be in the description down below for everything SKADOODLE. He's an incredible opper, incredible player, and if you would like to learn how to be an incredible opper yourself, he is somebody you can go to. Also, as well, I do offer coaching. You can DM me on Twitter for more details with that, and my Twitter link is in the description below as well. And that's going to do it, guys. So thank you for watching. Please be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more educational Valorant content, and we will be seeing you all in the next one.